not good news regarding Weinrod. It's been a really tough 48, 72 hours for the Marlins left-handed starter who is poised to have a breakout season. And he's just had really tough luck on the injury front. Back in spring training, close to opening day, gets hurt, forearm strain, and then here again with some shoulder soreness. And yeah, it's tough break, tough 2025 for Marlins left-handed starter.
Yeah, just to clarify, I wasn't even accusing Clayton of that. It's just, he goes out there probably 6, 7, 8 miles an hour, below than what we're seeing from him. Obviously, something was up. I mean, unless a concussion makes you throw 8 miles an hour slower, which I'm not doubting it. You never know. But it was pretty surprising. But yeah, like you said, I do agree with Clayton that it probably was concussion protocol. He said posting that Eli tweeted out compared to the SpongeBob scene when everyone's on fire, everything's going crazy. So I believe him. Yep, there it is right there. So again, not trying to accuse Clayton of anything, but just worth pointing out.
Right. Yeah. Just to echo that, it would be a huge bummer if he misses a significant amount of time all the way back to spring training. We're so excited about the work that he's put in physically on his pitch mix, all the measurable things that took a step forward this year. And coming into the start, it translated to the regular season in a way that seemed really sustainable. He obviously would have had such a long runway this season to establish himself as a good big league starter. And last year he had that fluky finger injury at almost exactly the same time of year. I'll have to look back and try to match up the dates, but I think it's almost identical as to when he went out last year with that finger thing. He ended up missing 3 months. And this, of course, unfortunately with a shoulder, that's something that could have longer term ramifications because of how important that is from his standpoint. So it's hard to parse exactly what role the hit to the head had with him being out of sorts mechanically, and that maybe leading to something with his delivery in a way that may have hurt his shoulder. It's all premature, so we'll just see how the tests come back right here. It goes without saying. It would be a bummer that this has been the theme of the season so much on both sides of the ball, that as soon as they get one guy back from injury, then somebody else goes down, and it leads to just being blunt here. On the roster, you have guys that aren't necessarily impactful big league players that are sticking around the roster in a way that's, of course, leading to this team losing almost as many games as they did last year, even though they seem to be more talented and ready to be competitive. It's just these injuries are just lining up in a way that's really frustrating. He is not being traded. That's for one, because he'll be out for at least the next couple months, and probably longer than that. Again, it just mirrors last year, except this time it's the shoulder instead of his finger, where he's going to miss a huge chunk of this season. And we'll have to find out more in the coming days about what the exact diagnosis is, but shoulder related, opening up a void in this Marlins rotation that, as I just noted, Yuri can step into that, but the whole point was ideally to have these guys together. So again,
that happened pretty quick, man. Geez, like that, when it happens that quick, it's probably not good. So
So you're right, because just to a glimpse of what the 40-man, to be blunt, there were other guys that they could have designated for assignment to open up this roster spot to Yuri. This is the corresponding move for Yuri instead of that. And the fact that they were willing to do this, it's very similar to what they did with Griffin Conine when he suffered that injury to his shoulder that ended up being season ending. They knew at the time that it was probably going to be season ending, and for that to happen right here, that indicates where the team is leaning. So yeah, we just got to stay tuned to see what the recovery is and whether it requires surgery or whether they're just going to try to rest and recover. But either way, a huge bummer for a guy that even best case scenario is going to barely be on the mound this season.
It sucks so much. I mean, we were expecting, we were expecting like a lot of things from this player this year, and he was off to such a good start. Now he's going to miss at least 2 months, which, man, I mean, at this point in his career, it's just such an unfortunate timing for something like this to happen, and for it to happen apparently like just out of the blue. Just like maybe he was dealing with it before this. I don't know. I would hope not, but for this to happen at this point in this guy's career is very, very unfortunate. The timing of this just sucks. I hope we see him back this season, but for this to happen as fast as it did, this could be a lengthy absence, which I hope I'm wrong, but we'll see.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's already going to be a lengthy absence. It probably could mean he's done for the year. And, well, with this, I mean, it's tough. And as Eli noted, it's a simple swap. You put Yuri in there for Weathers. It's an easier roster move than having to make 2 of them, because if it would have been 15-day, it would have been a completely different roster move there. But, yeah, I mean, I guess this lines up like Jansen Junk now to start in there potentially.
Yeah, and don't laugh that off. He's been really good.
He's tough.
Yeah,
He pitched well this weekend.
They have quite a few candidates in my opinion. They just called up Connor Gillespie, who we saw, believe it or not, in their opening day rotation, even though it feels like an eternity ago.
Oh my God,
yeah. In my opinion, I'm most intrigued by what Junk can do. Junk looks like a really nice find by this team.
Hey, I mean, they could also bring up Mazer, who's been already in AAA for a while. May as well see what you got there. And I mean, if you're going to let the young guys play, that's a guy who could go into the rotation. And
if you want a lefty, like I said, Snelling is the guy. But Mazer too has been good in AAA. So
I mean, at this point, I believe the clock already started with him anyways. So you may as well see what you got.
Yeah, difference there is Mazer on the 40 and Snelling not. So I mean, ease of access with Mazer too, but that would give you an all righty rotation, which I guess they would have to deal with just a couple lefties in the pen. But we'll see.